Um, yeah, like I said, I mean, I've been coaching for a long time, and the one word that stands out to me throughout all that time has been inclusivity. It's just like, let's create a truly inclusive environment, right? And over the years, that changes what that looks like as you kind of meet new people, and you're like, oh, okay, there's this portion of the population, there's this part of the demographic. You're like, oh, okay, well, there's something I need to take in mind here and change how I talk there, and maybe not use this word in front of these people. And we learn and grow as individuals as well as coaches. And yeah, it's kind of come to the forefront of my mind when I came over here. I had a mutual friend. She was hearing impaired, or still is hearing impaired, and we basically had a little deal of like, I'll teach you fitness, you teach me sign language. And it planted the seed, and I was like, oh, wow, like, okay. And then I geek out over coaching, man. Like, this is my art form, this is my profession. Um, and I'm like, okay, well, we speak solely about effective communication all the time. Yet, if we take away our verbal cues, can we communicate with these individuals? And a lot of the time, that answer is going to be no. So I'm like, all right, sound like there's a hole here. And then I just started following that hole, and I was like, oh, actually, like, you can't get in the gym because there's a ramp. There's no ramp.
Mm.
If I speak to anybody, they don't know sign language. I'm like, okay, cool. So if you're deaf and hearing impaired, you can't come in. I was like, well, they have no idea about this, or that, or this, or that. And they're like, okay, well, now you're just bastardizing them. Or your prices are $100 a week. Okay, cool. So if someone's, a little bit scrimping and scraping on the old penny front, they can't come
Yeah.
in. So it kind of just opened up Pandora's box in my mind. And I was like, oh, right, well, we got to do something here. We gotta help some people out.
I totally agree. I mean, that's one of the reasons. I mean, I've started like an organization in the UK. It's called Nothing Special. It's called that really because it's kind of sort of irony, sarcasm, really, because it's to create a group that is something special, is a lot different, but sort of turn it on its head, to sort of say, and it's people now, they've become part of a group, a friendship group, a bit like what you're saying, sort of like, a lot of them, a lot of people within my group are non-verbal. Even my son, he's not that verbal as well. And it's just, by laying on things for people who struggle in life with certain things, is to actually give something to people who need a lot of help,
Mhm.
who need that boost. A bit like my son, I'm his kind of wingman. He's not able to sort of access many things himself. And it's kind of sort of down to me really to sort of help him throughout his journey, throughout his life. And communication is a massive thing, in everyone's life, and if he's not got that, or people haven't got that, they need to find out, to actually learn sign language is just amazing. I mean, I've been trying to learn it for quite a while, really, but if I don't use it, then I forget it,
Mm.
really. But one of the cool things is with my son is I kind of call it non-verbal communication, and he does that via like t-shirts and brands, things like that. I think we all do it. We all wear brands on our t-shirts and stuff, things like that. So he's able to sort of like to let people know what how he not saying how he feels, but the kind of bands that he's into. He's very much into his sort of like dance music, his EDM. He's got his Dead Mouse t-shirts on and things like that, really. And I think that's is finding another way of communicating.
Mm.
And that's one of my sort of goals. I think really, he wants to communicate with his friends. He's not able to text. He hasn't got the sort of the hand skills or even the sort of knowledge to be able to do it, which is really unfair because his lots of his friends are always texting him asking to sort of do this to do that. So, but yeah, it's so basically, yeah. I mean, I feel it is as a father, it's my job to sort of give him that boost, help him throughout his life, and to especially sports, to access sports. So many people that I know that he knows would love to go to a gym, would love to go and play a sport, but just haven't got the confidence, or wouldn't even know where to go about finding a disability or all inclusive sport.
Mm,
And it's just so I, along my journey to help my son, is I found lots of different sports, really, things that I didn't actually realize was there. And then you say, we just spoke, before you clicked record, we were chatting about fam. This fam is just absolutely fantastic, and he loves it. So the functional um you know sports side of it, and all the inclusive side of it is just sort of him and his friends. Every week they're there straight away, waiting for sort of the fitness class in New Zealand to sort of like to sort of like click go. The where so yeah, absolutely amazing, fantastic.
mm. That is absolute music to my ears, mate. I'm so big on equal opportunity. I think we got into this profession to take horses to water, but it's not our responsibility to make the horse drink, but it is our responsibility to take said horse to water, right? We need to
Yeah,
line them all up and be like, okay, well, it's there, it's available. We kind of know what we're doing. We might have to
yeah.
figure it out on the fly on the dance floor and communicate with you as an individual athlete and then be able to adapt. But that's the beauty of our role. But it's there, there is an option for you to be able to come in if you so choose to. If you choose not to, that's fine. Freedom of will. Okay. You
Mm.
get to do whatever you want. And I'm so big on that, man. I'm so big on it. And it really fires me up hearing people all over the world just kind of doing bits. And I'm so excited to hear about Nothing Special, mate. So talk to me about
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, as I said, it started, to make sure that my son had somewhere to go, something to do. But it kind of sort of grew, especially from um, inclusivity. We're very much into like this day and age. Where it's all this kind of sort of like this um, in this pan world where we need to include everyone. No one's sort of saying like I prefer this for that. So we're all talking about sort of like people's sexuality, people's colors. Everyone's being included. Hopefully one day racism would disappear because people will just sort of go, who cares? Really, people's gender,
that.
this day and age is just like, if I fancy the person, if I like the person, who cares what they look like, what sex they are, things like that. So there's like, especially in the UK, there's a massive push for that. And then I think it was my job, or I felt upon it as my job to sort of like help the people with additional needs, people with disabilities. I mean, I used to go to a mall and just stand there and look around and go, well, where are the disabled people?
Mm,
Where are the people who are different? Are they being hidden away somewhere? Are people, are we embarrassed by them? And that kind of prompted me then to sort of go, well, no, let's I want my son's disabled. Let's get a group out. Let's go places. Go into a restaurant. And we have like tables and go to discos. Do everything that what the new word is, neurotypical people are doing. They want to do the same. And it's I feel as if I'm making a change. I'm helping these people. I organise discos, or if I don't organise my own disco, then we'll go to another disco on a Saturday night, which is where everyone else wants to go Saturday night, not like a Wednesday night, and that's because that's the only night that they can squeeze them in, kind of thing.
mm,
And it's giving them something to look forward to, and that's what Nothing Special is all about. It's, as I said before, it's a play on words, it's irony. My goal really, I think that what I want to achieve is to create a group, an organization, a charity, you name it, whatever you want to call it, that typical mainstream people are sort of jealous of. I want them to sort of go, how come my dad's not doing that? How come he gets to go to all these really cool places and do all these really cool activities? And then it just sort of prompt people, or even like prompt parents, sort of going, "Oh, okay, I suppose I better sort of do it as well, then," kind of thing.
Mm,
But and that's what it's about. And so nothing special was really only starting off to sort of say, let's just get a few people together, socialize, go to sports, go and visit places, do activities, do tours, people. And it's really difficult to sort of do that because there were a lot of parents who came along and sort of going, "What's this? What's this strange man doing this for? Why is he doing this? Maybe you thought I had sort of ulterior motives. Maybe I was just sort of trying to find a woman or something. I don't know really what
mm,
the reasons were, but they soon sort of realised that I'm actually onto something. We've got like people already who aren't verbal but able to communicate, or even if they just sort of like nod and say hello, that's more what, at least they're out the house, at least they're doing something, at least they're not sat at home, at least they're not just existing, they're living. And whilst that's going on, we've then got sort of like parent and carers are sort of like linking up as well and chatting away, and that's where it's sort of grown. And then so the nothing special has been going around about getting on for probably 4.5 5 years. And my sort of social media now, I've got nearly 800 people in there, which has just gone absolutely nuts lately. But I think my problem is at the moment I've just kind of got a bit too big. I'm kind of going, what the hell do I do with like 800 people? How do I organize that as well? So yeah, I mean, it's nothing special. Is It's just something I do on the side. I work full time doing something completely different. So this
mm,
is just something I do, but it's also kind of things that I want to do, things that if I got given the chance, if my father was around, I would want him to do this,
mm,
and it's all things, I want to go to really cool places, I want to see how recording studios work, I want to see how the sort of like how things go to a brewery or something, or like a cider factory. I'd love to do that kind of thing, and it's also things that I wanted to sort of do, as in I'm trying to create a wearable brand as well, with the nothing special logo on, so that is, just something, it's look at, got actually t-shirt on now, don't know if you can see there
nice.
really, but it's kind of sort of like something that people could be part of, you can wear something, but it's not sort of like spewed across your shirt to say, I'm different,
Hmm,
I've
hmm.
got disabilities, very very subtle brand, a bit like that. So that's, it's getting the message out. It'd be great if we could, you could end up sort of like having this brand and maybe not actually realizing you're actually supporting people with disabilities or additional needs, things like that. So I tend to sort of look for things that I want to do. Not so long ago, I woke up one morning and I said to my wife, who's kind of a kind of she's on board with what I do, but I think she seems to think I'm a little bit crazy, and she doesn't really know how I manage to sort of squeeze any of this in. But I woke up one morning and said, "I've got a good idea." And as soon as she hears that, then her heart sinks. Then, oh no, here he goes. What is he going? So I
Yep.
said, "What I'm going to do?" I said, "I'm going to write a song." I said, "I'm going to write a song all to do with disabilities and things like that. I'm going to get it recorded. I'm going to get like a group of young adults and kids in like a recording studio. We're all going to make this sort of like live aid, band aid sort of video and things like that." Really, she kind of thought it was a good idea, but then thought, nah, he's never going to go through with it. So I wrote the song. I had it recorded. Um, I haven't quite done the video yet,
Mm,
really. So, but it was just kind of a bit of fun. I wrote the song, got a guy on board. He did all the music for me. We got in the studio, and it was just something that it was something that I wanted to do, and it was sort of like, if I had a dad who would do that, I'd just go, how cool is he, kind of thing. So that's my job, and that's what nothing special is really. It's mainly me, but it's all to do with my son. Everyone knows that nothing special wouldn't be anything without Mikey.
mm,
It's just, he drives me, and he also drives me every week. He's all saying, "Oh, what we doing this week, Dad? What we doing this?" So yeah, that's nothing special.
man. I think you keep you said you felt like you put out in the depths of the water a little bit with 800 people, and I think you keep putting that heart on your sleeve and you keep talking from it as much as possible, man. Like it's clearly resonating with people, and You just keep being you, keep being Micah, keep being yourselves, keep just trying to have fun. You know what I mean? Be authentic. Authenticity just shines through, and
Yeah.
wherever it goes, it goes, And I want one of those shirts. Like, where can I get one? Send me the link.
I'll send you a link. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so yeah. I mean, I'll if we've got lots of different brands. Not well, there's a couple of brands, but lots of different designs as well. Really. So it's just. I mean, I just sold a load of drinks bottles as well. So
Uh,
that was that was all part of the sort of fitness. To try to promote other people's fitness classes and sports classes. So it's that's kind of what I do as well, is sort of offer free promotions for people. If I hear about a sport or an activity, fitness class, and I'll promote it as much as I can on my social media, because A, it's probably something that my son would like to do,
mm,
and B, it's just, I think it's really cool. And I just think, anybody who's got any kind of fitness sport that helps people who need a little bit extra help, I think it's well worth promoting.
mm,
And that's what we do as well. So it's we've got um so just before the pandemic, we had our own kickboxing class, which
amazing.
was um which was like a friend of mine. So I asked him to sort of see if he can start this class. I think it frightened the life out of him when I first said, that, I'm going to bring along, a load of sort of people with additional needs, but then he soon realised that he didn't even need to adapt his class at all. Really, it was just maybe slightly slower, perhaps, but other than that, but that was also quite tricky, because when they were applying for their belts and trying to get their gradings and things, he then took it to like the Federation of Kickboxing, whatever it is, who then saw that what all these people's needs were, and what their disabilities were, and he threw it out straight away. He said, there's absolutely no way that I can warrant these licenses to these people. So we almost gave up, but then it only really transpired that we then had to be a little bit more smarter, and then introduce a lot more risk assessments, a lot more waivers, doctors' notes, physios, sort of notes and things like that. And it was just, we had to fight quite hard to sort of put all this stuff together. We sort of created this pack and got it all together, presented it, and then the federation then said, cool, fair play. So
Mm,
yeah, so we managed to get that through. Recently started a boxing class as well, so that's really well attended on a Saturday morning. And there's a CrossFit class on a Sunday morning as well. So it's pretty much, I mean, my idea was try to find something for my son to do during the week and weekends, and he's kind of got a bit too much now, so I've got to sort of like try to rein back a bit. So yeah, no, it's all really good. I mean, to actually help not only my son, but potentially another 800 people, doing that. I think it's just, it's one of these things. You get to the end of the week, you go into work on a Monday. What did you do on a weekend? Oh, I did some gardening. I went out with some friends. What did you do? I probably helped over 100 people all get fit and get meet up, and even if they just go to the pub or something, it's great to sort of do it. But you could and that's a really good feeling, sort of like knowing that you get like a warm, fuzzy feeling, knowing that
mm.
you've helped so many people who potentially wouldn't, they would have just been stuck in their homes doing nothing. So that's my my weekends taken up mostly, but that's just what I'd rather do, that than sort of say, oh, I just mooched around kind of thing. I must admit, it is sometimes nice just to mooch around on weekends and actually have nothing to do, but it's also equally just as good to actually get people out, fitnessing,
Mm.
enjoying life. So yeah.
I agree, man. And I talk a lot about fitness being the catalyst, right? And I think that's what you provide in these people is just like a catalyst for improving their lives in many different ways, right? You just kind of getting them out, getting them moving in some capacity. All right, we're going to try this today. We're going to try that today. And now that's going to plant a seed in their mind that then they take forwards, even if they just come to that one class, right? Like, you've made a difference. And I think that's a beautiful thing, man.
Good. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a really nice feeling. Um, anything, it's hard doing it. As I said, it's trying to get people into fitness. If people don't want to do it, then you're never really going to get people out there. But it is, each week I normally say to someone, say, just come along, just try it.
Mm.
It may, you may not think it's for you, and then, but a lot of I tend to sort of focus on activities and sports that are not like groups or like teams or anything. It's kind of sort of you do it as the individual. So if the sport or activity entails doing press ups, you can't do press ups, but we'll find another way to sort of do it. Really, things like that. So it isn't just. I think that's kind of what puts a lot of people off, really. Whatever activity or sport, would be like, oh, I can't do that. But then, I think it's down to the instructors to actually, it's their job to find another way around it.
Yep.
A really good example of that is during the so the boxing class that we have. My daughter's doing a sports fitness class at her college, and she wanted some training. And one thing that she learned quite quickly is, so always have a backup kind of thing. So, so if you just say, okay, we're going to do some circuits, we're going to be running around, she soon realised that there were people there who couldn't do that. So she straight away she had a backup. Okay, you over there, you can do something else, things like
Mm.
that. I think that's just the beauty of, and a sign of a good coach as well, to be able to do that. So yeah, all good.
I agree. It is our job. It is our responsibility to be able to have multiple tools in the back pocket to be able to whap out at any time, right? You can have someone come in and be perfectly able-bodied, whatever that looks like, right? We've always got some sort of bunged up shoulder or a dodgy knee or something, but then they could come in the next day and be like absolutely destroyed because they went on, I don't know, a skiing trip the other day and just kind of fell
Yeah,
down a mountain. And then next to him, you could have someone just wheeling in a wheelchair. You're just like, right, how am I going to provide these people with the same stimulus in an inclusive environment that they're doing pretty much the same thing, right? But obviously, I'm going to have to change some things, and that's our job. And I think that is, we got to be Sherlock Holmes. We got to be able to figure this thing out, get in your head, figure it out. What do I need to say, provide to you before you even know? And I think that's why coaching becomes so addictive because it's like you can get it right, but it can always be slightly better. So you're always in this like kind of good's not good enough mentality. And
yeah.
I think that's addictive, man. I think that's really addictive.
I agree. I agree. I mean, it must be. I mean, it's sort of. It must be amazing. I mean, it's like the recent, the new CrossFit class that I've just been promoting in Bristol, and it's set up by, well, it's funded by a sports charity, and it's ran by a guy called Tom, who's a physio, um, and I mean, he's got all the tools there ready to be able to sort of do it, and then within, I mean, I've been taking some video, taking some photos, coming home, showing the family, and saying, it wasn't that long ago, my son Mikey, who had a back operation, couldn't do very much, but look at him now. He's there. He's lifting weights. He's dangling from a monkey ropes kind of thing. He's on a he's on a fitness bike, really, something that he would never. And so, that's amazing for us, but it must also be amazing for like the coaches as well to actually see people's progression and the sort of like the difference they are making to people's lives as well. So I take my hat off to anybody who can do that, and it just must be a fantastic feeling.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, we are just cogs in the wheel, right? Like everybody has their role, and everybody, thrives in their role too. The carers do an amazing job, the athletes do an amazing job. We strive to do an amazing job. So everybody comes together is what creates true progress, right? And thriving for these people. But yeah, like it's definitely a cool sight, and being able to see individuals thrive in whatever way that is for that person is a
Mm.
really cool thing, because you can kind of come in and you're like, I'm going to get everybody unbelievably fit. Like, I'm going to get everybody a bar muscle up. I'm going to get everybody to be able to snatch a barbell. I'm going to get everybody. I'm like, that might not be thriving for that individual. They might not give a shit, right? They just might not want to do it. They just want to come in and learn to actually communicate with other human beings because they've
Yeah.
got wicked anxiety or they're non-verbal or whatever it is, right? And you're like, oh, okay, I'm kind of forcing a goal on this person that they don't want. I was like, right, great. What's your goal? And just being able to figure that out and be like, okay, now I'm going to lay out those breadcrumbs to Hansel and Gretel's house. So we get there not tomorrow, not in 2 weeks. We might get there in 4 years' time, but at least we're on the best path for this individual.
Great. Yeah, very good, very good. I mean, it's I can see that. I mean, I can obviously see that. I can see that progression in my son. He's able to do so much more now. Things that he could never ever do, which is absolutely amazing. And another a good example of that is the class that we do online with Michael. In New Zealand is one of my son's friends, who joins the class. Megan, she's in a wheelchair. We went out recently, and then she managed to sort of lift herself out of her chair and managed to get into a seat. I sort of said to her mum, said, I've never seen her get out of a chair before. I said, no, if it wasn't for fam, she would have never got out of her seat.
Mm.
I think that's just an amazing story. It is just, it's, yeah, I think it's just, I think that's a really good feeling. Imagine, and that's kind of sort of like the feeling that I get most weeks with all the stuff that I promote with Nothing Special. It is just it is that kind of knowing that they get to the end of the week, or they might go back on back to school, colleges, uni, whatever. On a Monday, what did you do? Oh, we've done this really cool thing. It was just not very far from where I live. There's a place called a Wave, which is a man-made surfing area. It's absolutely massive. It's been open a couple of years, and say it's sort of 5 minutes from my home, and it's probably about 3 or 4 times now I've taken a group along. It's probably the most difficult thing to organise because there's lots of sort of risk assessments, and I normally get the wave going, do you really think this is a good idea to actually bring these people along? I go, it's a fantastic idea. It's probably the most expensive one I do as well, but people are just willing to, and you can guarantee that they are just so well made up afterwards. Just say like that was probably just the best day I've ever had. Trying to get all these people, on surfboards, all in, it's just absolutely fantastic. And that to me is just, what, I think is, if I can, and it's almost like a buzz, probably is, the same thing as you're helping, you're making a difference. You just want to do it more and more and more. I wish I could go surfing every week, really. And it's just, it's just that kind of, yeah, a real good feeling knowing. And I say, it probably stems back to, I mentioned earlier about, if my father was around, my father was never around when I was, when I was young. Maybe it's my way of trying to sort of give something back. If I was perfectly honest, I mean, my wife would probably say the same thing. I never really wanted children because of my father not being there, kind of thing, and kind of thought that I'd end up being like him. So there was a long time before I sort of said no, no, no. And then as soon as we started to have children, and that was just like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. And then soon finding out that I had a child who needed extra help, really, it kind of just sort of like put me into sort of overdrive, really. So it was just, he's got autism, he's got learning difficulties, he's got dyslexia, you name it. He has it. He has, he's recently found out that he's got epilepsy as well. So there's, he's having, he's been dealt a quite a sort of shit hand, really. So I think it's just, again, one of the reasons why I'm sort of driven each week is to try to, give him a better life, kind of
Mm.
thing. So that's a. I also got to go a little bit careful because I have a neurotypical daughter, and she sort of says, "Dad, you're doing all these really cool things with Mikey, but remember you've got a daughter as well, as
Yeah,
well." So yeah, and also I've got to remember I've got a wife as well, really. 'Cause she says, "Hello, I am here.
yeah.
I need things." Yeah, so yeah,
She's the
it's
glue
good.
that holds you all together, man. Like
Yeah,
always the head of the table. That's for sure.
yeah, that's the thing. And she's also there to sort of like rein me in a little bit, going, "Hang on a second, you're going a
Yeah.
little bit too far with this." So she keeps, my wife keeps me grounded. Um, but yeah, I mean, but she can also see, that there is a need for it. And it's sort of recently, I mean, it's kind of get, as I mentioned, having all these people, 800 people each week, we all want help. You know, we're not a charity. We're not any, we haven't got any charitable status. But I think it's time now that we start to sort of look at, you know, becoming something. In the UK, we have something called community interest company. So it's
Hmm.
like it's like a non-profit company, just to sort of like make the whole group a little bit structured, so we, a little bit control. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of money being passed backwards and forwards, paying for things like that, organizing things like that. So we're in a process at the moment, and people are kind of sort of, a bit like anything, people are quite content for me to do it. As soon as I ask for help, then they go, "Oh no, no, you're doing such a good job. You just carry on and do it yourself." Whereas I think now people are kind of going, I think Jason's doing a little bit too much. He needs help. So people are beginning to sort of like get on board now, and and they can see that it's not just like a short term group. This is, I started it 4 or 5 years ago. It's from then until the end of my son's life. It's,
Mm.
this, he has to have this in place. You know, and and that's what people are beginning to sort of, it isn't a throwaway group or something. I got to think, way beyond when I'm gone. What things can I put in place, not only for him. It'd be great to sort of, I'm always sort of looking to see if, whilst I'm trying to organise something, make it a kind of like a franchise or something. Just because I'm going here or I'm organising this, why can't, not only, at the moment I'm thinking small, maybe just sort of like within the Bristol UK area, but why can it not be everywhere? It'd be
Mm.
great, even where, even in New Zealand, to sort of say, this guy, he had this idea of sort of, nothing special, just by sort of bringing people together, and it's, just so that people, are part of something. I think that's, that's something I found quite quickly is I would organise a bit like the surfing or something. You go, fantastic, best day ever. I said, well, why don't you organise it yourself? No, 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 no. I like the safety. I like being part of something, to be able to sort of say, we are going as a group, kind of thing.
Mm.
So I think that's, so. Yeah, I've got. I mean, I could go on and on. Really. I mean, I've got like thousands of ideas that I want to be doing with, with this group. I'm really sort of scratching the surface. Because, as I say, it's like a lifetime thing, and it'd be just great if it could just grow and grow and grow. Globally, it'd be fantastic.
Mm. Brother, just that's amazing, and always striving for more is what we want to hear and what we want to do. Zoom's gonna kick me out in like 30 seconds, so I just want to say thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to come visit you both when I get home.
Looking forward to it. It'd be great to see you. But yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity, really, just to sort of talk about stuff that I'm very passionate about. And it's also good to sort of talk to someone like yourself who's also equally passionate as
Always,
well.
brother. Always. Thank you so much, man, and